Hello friends, I am Dr. Manisha Divre, Assistant Professor from Physics Department, KVN Naik College, Nasik. In the series of this lecture, this is the fourth lecture in which we will study about the hydrogen spectrum. Friends, when an electron jumps from the higher stationary orbit to the lower stationary orbit, a radiation of the frequency nu is emitted. The frequencies of the radiation which the hydrogen atom can emit are obtained by the third postulate. E1 is equal to minus me raised to 4 upon 8 epsilon 0 square h square. After substituting the values of all these quantities, we'll get the value of E1 as minus 13.6 electron volt. Hence, the energy of the electron in the nth orbit is given as En is equal to E1 upon n square. From this we can write the values of E2 as minus 3.4 electron volt and E3 is equal to minus 1.51 electron volt and so on. Thus, the energy of the electron goes on decreasing when it goes away from the nucleus. The energy of the electron in the pth orbit is given as Ep is equal to minus me raised to 4 8 epsilon 0 square p square h square. Energy of the electron in the nth orbit is given as En is equal to minus me raised to 4 8 epsilon 0 square n square h square. Now when the electron jumps from the higher orbit energy level having energy En to the lower orbit energy level with the energy Ep, the energy emitted will be h nu and it is equal to En minus Ep. So after substituting the values of En and Ep, we'll get it as h nu is equal to minus me raised to 4 upon 8 epsilon 0 square n square h square minus me raised to 4 upon 8 epsilon 0 square p square h square. Now in this expression, we'll get me raised to 4 upon 8 epsilon 0 square h square constant. So we'll take it outside and we can write h nu is equal to me raised to 4 upon 8 epsilon 0 square h square and the remaining term will be 1 upon p square minus 1 upon n square. So if we'll take this h to the denominator, we can write the value of v as v is equal to me raised to 4 upon 8 epsilon 0 square. Now here it is h square. When this h will come to the denominator, it will become h cube into remaining term will be as it is, that is 1 upon p square minus 1 upon n square. Now we know that c is equal to v into lambda, where lambda is the wavelength and c is the velocity of the light. So c upon lambda is equal to v. C upon lambda is equal to v. So we know the value of v. So c upon lambda is equal to me raised to 4 upon 8 epsilon 0 square h cube into 1 upon p square minus 1 upon n square. Now if we'll take the value of this c in the denominator, we can write 1 upon lambda as me raised to 4 upon 8 epsilon 0 square and this c which is here it is in the numerator. When it will come to the denominator, it will become me raised to 4 upon 8 epsilon 0 square c h cube into remaining term will be as it is, that is 1 upon p square minus 1 upon n square. So this is now we'll take it as one constant which is equal to r. So the expression will become 1 upon lambda is equal to r into 1 upon p square minus 1 upon n square, where this r is me raised to 4 upon 8 epsilon 0 square c into h cube, which is called as Rydberg's constant and its value is 1.097 into 10 raised to 7 per meter. And we know that the wave number v is given as v bar is equal to 1 upon lambda. We know the value of 1 upon lambda, so v bar is equal to r into 1 upon p square minus 1 upon n square. The series of the spectral lines arises on account of transition of the electrons from the higher state to the lower state. These spectral lines are listed in this table. For the spectral series of Lyman series, the final state is 1 and the initial states are 2, 3, 4 and so on, and the spectral region is ultraviolet. For Balmer series, the final state is 2 and the initial states are 3, 4, 5 and the spectral region is visible. For Paschen series, the final state is 3 and the initial states are 4, 5, 6 and the spectral region is near infrared. For the Brackett series, final state is 4 and the initial states are 5, 6, 7 and so on and the spectral region is infrared. For Pfund series, the final state are 5 and the initial states are 6, 7, 8, 9 and so on and the spectral region is far infrared. Here is the diagram. Here is the energy diagram of hydrogen atom. The spacing between the two successive energy level decreases as the value of n increases. Here it is n is equal to 1, n is equal to 2, n is equal to 3. As the value of n go on increasing, the spacing between the energy levels go on decreasing. When n tends to infinity, the energy levels are continuous. In any series of the spectral lines, the shortest wavelength corresponds to the longest transition and the longest wavelength corresponds to the shortest transition. In Balmer series, the transition from n is equal to 3 to p is equal to 2, the lines are called as H alpha lines. The transition from n is equal to 4 to p is equal to 2, it is called as H beta line, and the transition from n is equal to 5 to p is equal to 2, it is called as H gamma line. And the transition from n is equal to 6 to p is equal to 2, it is called as H delta line, and so on. Now friends, we'll study about the strength of Bohr's model of an hydrogen atom. As we know that Bohr model is able to explain the spectral of the hydrogen atom, and it must be tremendously modified to accommodate the other elements, and it cannot be applied to the multi-electron atoms and does not predict fine structure of the atomic spectral lines, and does not provide the method to calculate the relative intensities of the spectral lines. Bohr's model could account for the formation of the spectral lines in the hydrogen spectra, and Bohr's atom can also give the strong scientific basis for the observed emission and the absorption spectral lines, such as Balmer, Lyman and Paschen lines. The ionization value of the hydrogen atom given by the Bohr's model corresponded to the experimentally known ionization values for the hydrogen atom, and it can also explain the size of the hydrogen atom and the radius of the hydrogen atom can be calculated by using the model corresponding to the known values of the hydrogen atom. But it also used to use the nucleus ideas of the Rutherford, but not give the explanation for the structure of the electron cloud. It also has some drawbacks. It is able to explain the spectral of the hydrogen atom, and it must be tremendously modified to accommodate the other elements. It cannot be applied to the multi-electron atoms, and it does not predict the fine structure of the atomic spectral lines, and it does not provide the method to calculate the relative intensities of the spectral lines. Also, it predicts the wrong values of the angular momentum for the electron in an atom. It also violates the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, although the Bohr's model preceded this by more than a decade. Friends, I hope you understand the whole topic very clearly, and in the next video we will study about the Frank-Hertz experiment. If you like this video, please share and subscribe it. Stay tuned. Thank you.